in just the past few minutes, we have heard China threatening measures and retaliation if the U.S. actually passes that Hong Kong bill. Of course, we know that that legislation is also up for a vote in the Senate. The House has already passed it. Do we know at this point what kind of retaliation we could see? Would it be further linked to perhaps trade talks?
Well, I think that China will try and keep this somewhat separate from the trade talks. But if you heard your own reporter just say that they really don't know exactly what kind of retaliation. In some ways this is interference. I mean, the Chinese would say this is interference in their internal affairs. But for Hong Kong, I think it's really not such a big deal. I think the bigger deal is the Hong Kong Policy Act, which was passed before, which gives Hong Kong special privileges in terms of technology transfer. It treats Hong Kong just like it were still a British colony, and sort of good relationship with Britain had been maintained. And so that's really one thing that Hong Kong really has to avoid, which is getting the United States Congress to withdraw the Hong Kong Policy Act. And at that point, we haven't seen this happen. So this is kind of window dressing for the United States. The U.S. Congress to try and show that it actually can do something about the protests, but I don't see this as really that big an issue.
But how much of a conundrum is it for the Trump administration, given that although this might be symbolic, it does not make the mood between the two any better when they're at these crucial trade negotiations?
Sure. So the Congress, in the United States, you have separation of powers. You have the Congress and you have the president and the administration. And the administration is trying to solve this problem. It probably might not have liked this that much. I don't know how well the president gets along with Ted Cruz and people in the Congress who are really pushing these kinds of policies. But I don't think it's that. As I said, I don't think it's that big an issue. If China, China wants to make this deal, I think, to a certain extent, and both sides want to make the deal, I think, and I don't think they're going to let this. If they can find a way to make a deal, they'll make a deal, and this won't break it.